Hello and welcome to another episode of We Are Next. We Are Next is an initiative of Next Niagara where we spotlight and celebrate young professionals who are making an impact in Niagara. My name is Kevan Peters. I'm your host, and today we are joined by the amazing Sarah Singleton. Sarah, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
All right, let's just jump into it, Sarah. Tell me a bit about who you are and what you do.
Full-time gig. I work at Niagara College. I am the engagement and leadership program coordinator there. And what that means is I run the leadership program. So it's outside of their academics, it's co-curricular programming, lots of fun. I bring in guest speakers, either take them to conferences, host conferences, and work on students' kind of professional development. And then kind of on the other side of things, passion side projects, I am the co-founder of Females Who Side Hustle and the co-host of Safer Seat podcast. So lots of fun things always going on.
I'd love to hear more about the Females Who Side Hustle project that you're working on. Can you tell me a bit about that?
We want to be a place to support, educate, and empower across industries. And we always want to be able to say, like, we have a gal for that. So we threw it out online and it grew to now over 3,000 followers in just over a year and a half. So yeah, it was all online. And then we just started getting messages and questions about when can we meet in person? So we were like, oh, I guess we'll start hosting events. So it was very organic, which is what I think we love most about it, is that we kind of just go where it takes us. And we've met so many amazing people along the way.
I find this generation has a reputation for being lazy and entitled.
Yes.
Yet it seems to be an entire generation of people who have side jobs beyond their 9 to 5. So is there any truth to that reputation? And where do you think the motivation comes from?
Yeah, I was actually looking up the stereotypes of a millennial, and some of the things that I think are false are like that lazy, unprepared, unmotivated, rebellious, or like compulsive job hoppers, when I don't think those are true at all. I think it is like we are looking for something that's like a fit for our lives when they say like that millennials work to live and instead of like live to work. And I think it's true. Like, why would you want to live just to work? You want to be able to do everything that you love all at once. So I think that's the beauty of side hustle. And that's why we called it Females Who Side Hustle, because we didn't mean it to have to stem from an income. Like, it could be totally passion driven, something you love to do, volunteering, a hobby. And from Terry's perspective, she's a mother of 2 crazy kids. And so sometimes, yeah, everything's a hustle. It's some things are on the side, and it's always like a juggle, not a balance, for sure. So yeah, I think that we get kind of a lot of stereotypes that aren't necessarily accurate, but I understand the perception that I think we're always on the go and doing different things, and it doesn't mean that we're not committed to them all. We just are so well-rounded. Yeah, I think our generation has that need for creativity and to express ourselves, and that's where I love like that the side hustle route gives you.
Let's for a moment focus a bit more on the female perspective of the side hustle. What challenges does a female specifically face in 2020?
I think there's so many, and just in conversations that I've had with women, and I can see kind of the trend that always comes up. I think we always struggle with, as kind of on the entrepreneur side, knowing your worth and in terms of pricing and what to ask. And I find that in myself too, and the confidence to maybe ask for that wage increase or things like that, or even pricing a product if you are a maker or something like that. You always find yourself second guessing. So I think that is a struggle that we face in terms of having that confidence to know your worth, kind of. But that's what we've seen across the board in conversations that I've had.
Why do women seem more likely to start a side hustle as opposed to men in this market?
I love that. I think because for the obvious, I can't speak for this because I'm not a mother, but that's what comes to mind in conversations and podcasts that I've done with so many amazing moms out there, is that they're on their mat leave and they need that outlet. First of all, they need human conversation, not that they don't love their children, because they love their children more than anything, but sometimes you need to have adult conversations. And so a lot of that time, that's what it comes to. You're wanting to connect with other people and you're wanting to do something for you. And I feel like that's a lot of, we talk a lot on our podcast and in our Female Suicide Hustle group about that mom guilt that people feel, that they feel like they kind of lose a piece of themselves and they feel bad for that because now they have this beautiful baby, but you're still allowed to have your own life and personality too. So I think that's one avenue that women do definitely pursue, that side hustle route, because I don't want to say they have the time, because mat leave, I'm sure you don't have a lot of time, but yeah, it's an option and a route that they want to take. And I love that for them. And I think another one is maybe, I know that with being at work, doing my 9 to 5, and then I come home and I'm in my group of girlfriends from growing up and I love them to death. You don't always have the same professional paths or avenues that you're going down. So it's nice to connect with other people in your industry and to network that way. So I think the side hustle stems from that too, is wanting to pursue that professional development for yourself. That's what kind of I wanted out of Female Suicide Hustle, was that connection and that professional development.
Now, you mentioned that you have a podcast. I'd love to hear more about that. What's it called?
Yeah, so the podcast is called Save Her Seat, and I am one of 3 hosts, and we do episodes every Thursday. We have conversations with women across different industries, and so it's great conversations, very unfiltered, and we talk about success and failures and struggles and everything in between. Whether that's your full-time or your side hustle, and just kind of getting people's stories out there. I think it's very rewarding to hear someone's success and hear someone's struggles or vulnerabilities and share that. And it's crazy when you start talking to people and you ask these questions, you kind of see similarities like across the board. We always say we want to like normalize the conversation and have shared experiences and open conversations. So that's really what the podcast is about.
Do you have any advice for anybody interested in starting a podcast?
It's easier than you think, I think I would say. I think a lot of people maybe are intimidated by it. I actually, thanks to quarantine and COVID-19, I started a podcast for the college called Go to College, They Said. And it's, you really, especially now with technology and even in quarantine, you can do it with a Zoom account. You need a hosting account and a decent microphone. Get confident and do your research. So when you are doing an interview or a topic, put the work in. So whenever we have a guest, it's probably borderline creepy about how much I go into their social media and just try and learn about them, because I feel like you have to be invested in someone if you want them to be interested in what you're doing too. So put the work in and focus on good audio.
What drives you to participate in all these different projects?
I think I love kind of connecting with different people and meeting new people, which is funny because I just said I was introverted, but it's just, beyond the small talk. I love hearing about what people are passionate about and where you're going and what you want to do. And I think that goes into my full-time job too at the college, helping students kind of put their best professional foot forward. And mentorship has always been huge to me. So I think other people, the people I surround myself, definitely motivate me. And then just that kind of creative fulfillment. I do feel my best when I'm busy and when I'm organized. So not going to lie, COVID quarantine hit me hard in terms of kicking my routine out the door and having to adapt a new one. But I think staying creative and meeting and making connections and the people around me motivate me the most.
One last thing before we wrap up, Sarah. What is next for you? What is next for Sarah Singleton?
Ooh. So prior to COVID-19, Terry and I had been planning Real Raw Talks conference, which was going to be an in-person one-day conference for Female Suicide Hustle, all those included. And it kind of got messed up in our timeline there. So that is definitely still number one on my to-do list coming up. Not sure when. I say it's postponed. I don't like to call it canceled because we will do it one day. And then Save Her Seat is going to be wrapping up season 2, which was focusing on showcasing all the women that we were going to have as panelists and speakers at Real Raw Talks. And so we'll be diving into season 3 that I'm very excited about.
Well, that wraps up another episode of We Are Next. If you'd like to volunteer or nominate somebody that you know for a future episode, please comment below. Other than that, we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.